Happy June! I am bringing you my June update for the Beauty A to Z Project Pan. This is a Pantastic Ladies collab. It was created by Jessica and Amanda. I am using my single shadows this year. I have 26 single shadows in front of me, one for every letter of the alphabet. I use them 5 times, I roll them out. If you like project panning and this sounds fun to you, then stick around. Hi, I'm Andy. Welcome or welcome back. I'm really happy that you're here. This was our May color story. Open it up so there's no glare. This was our May color story. I have some thoughts on these. I'm going to be rolling some out. I might even declutter 1 or 2. We'll see. Other than the ones rolling out, I'm only going to be showing you the shadows that I have active progress on that I have used since last update. So let's go ahead and get started. For the letter A, I have the shade Asteria. And this is a Divina shadow. I had 4 uses on this shadow as of last update. I used it actually twice more. I only have to use it 5 times, so this is actually rolling out. And I love that shadow. I really do. It's very, very, I need to swatch it for you. It's very, very flippy. It's very flippy. Look at that. It's so pretty. For the letter C, this was rolled in last month, and it is a ColourPop shadow in the shade Cheers Babe. And it's really pretty, kind of a peachy gold shimmer. I used this twice since it was brought in last month. There we go. There you can see. Next to the Divina, it just looks a little sad, but it is a very pretty shimmer. And I've used it twice since it was brought in last month. So I have 3 more uses to go on that. For the letter D, I have the shade Decisive, and this is a copacetic shadow. I have used this once since the last update, which gives me 2 uses total. I have 3 more uses until this can roll out. It is a very, very pretty bright pink. And I really don't see, with summer upon us, that I wouldn't be rolling that out next update. We'll see. We'll see. For the letter E, I have the shade Earthshine. This is also a ColourPop shadow. This is, you can buy as a single shadow. I used this once. It was brought in last month. So I've used this once. And so 4 more uses. Very, very pretty. 4 more uses for that before it can roll out. This shadow was brought in April, and it is the shade Free Floatin'. It is also ColourPop. This was in the High Tide palette. And I actually used this month. So pretty. I did a very moody teal and gray and taupe look. And it was moody and dark outside. I enjoyed the look that I did, but I have only used it once. So that is going to stay in for 4 more uses. Okay. Our first rollout, because I want to. This is the shade Glowworm. This is another ColourPop shadow. This is from the Glow Getter palette. This one I'm decluttering. It is very similar to that Free Floatin', but it doesn't have the oomph that it used to have. See the 2 next to each other? It just doesn't. It's not great, you guys. It is not a great formula. It is supposed to be a shimmer. It is really not very shimmery. It's actually more like a satin now. So I'm going to actually declutter that because I think that it is just has some age on it and is just not performing the way it once did. Did I say that was for G? That's for the letter G. For the letter H, I have the shade Home Slice. This is ColourPop. This was in the Main Squeeze palette. I did use this once this past month. It is a bright orange, bright red orange. And I had previously 3 uses on this. So that's 4 uses. I only have 1 before that can roll out. If I would have realized that, I probably would have used it 1 more time just so that I can roll that out. That is not a shade that I frequent. That is not a shade that I reach for a lot. So getting 4 uses on it, I'm ecstatic about that, but I will keep it in for the one more use that I need to actually roll it out, legitimately roll it out. Also rolled in last month, this is for the letter I. This is the shade Ice Phantom from Divina, and so beautiful. I love this shadow. I used this, what did I use this? I used it once. It was rolled in last month. I don't know that you can see it, but you can see the shine on it. It was rolled in last month. I've only used it once. And you know, this is what Cheers Babe should be. I'm going to swatch them together, which is not really fair to Cheers Babe, but they're very similar as far as their undertones. But do you see the difference? Ice Phantom is just, I mean, Ice Phantom is an indie brand. My neighbor's car alarm goes off all the time. All the time. At least once a day, their car alarm goes off. Anyway, as I was saying, if you look at Cheers Babe and Ice Phantom next to each other, they are very, very similar as far as tones. This is a little darker, but the difference in the formula is night and day. So I'm more likely to reach for the Ice Phantom than I am the Cheers Babe, but I am going to keep them both in, obviously. They're very pretty shadows, and for summer, I think the peachy tones will work great. For the letter J, I have the shade Jellyfish from Give Me Glow. Gorgeous. I did only use it once this past month. Shame on me. However, it is very pretty, and it is staying in. That gives me 2 uses. So I have 3 more uses to go before that can roll out. This and the Decisive look beautiful together. So maybe I'll just have to grind those out this month and do some more pinky looks. I have been doing a lot of pinky purple looks because I've been using the Huda Mercury Retrograde. The pinks in that are just so beautiful. And so those work really well with them. So I'm probably going to have to do some more purpley pink looks. Yes, I think so. Showing up again this month. This has been in since January. This is the shade Lunar. This is also from the High Tide palette from ColourPop. And I used this 2 more times this past month. I have 4 uses on it. And so I have 1 more use before it can roll out. I kind of think it is getting a little dry, but it did perform beautifully. That is what it looks like. That was part of my moody teal and taupe look that I did this past week. So these 2 look really nice together, and I will be rolling that out next time. I'll make sure that I use it the 1 more time that I need to use it. Again, I don't think I realized that I'd only had 1 more use, or else I probably would have used it. You guys, I didn't reach for this palette as much this past month. And I don't know why that is, other than I've been really loving the palettes that I have rolled in for my seasonal Shop My Stash. I have been loving them. And so I've not been incorporating my single shadows into my looks as much, although I do still have a pretty good amount of usage. And before I come back with the shades that we draw, I will do my little video montage that has all of the looks that I created using these shadows this past month. For the letter M, rolled in April, is the Luxie Shadow Moth to a Flame. I used this once this past month, so I have a total of 3 uses on this shadow. It is beautiful. Actually, I should have used it with this look today. That's what it looks like. It's very, very pretty, very warm, very coppery, gold, flippy number. So I will be, I think I probably will be rolling that out. I only need 2 more uses. I think I'll be rolling that out next time, I think. For the letter N, we have the shade Nocturne, and this was from the Through My Eyes palette from ColourPop. It is a kind of an orangey red shimmer, where this right here is more of satin. This is definitely a shimmer. more of a red shimmer, I guess. More of a red shimmer. But I did use this once this month, which gives me 4 uses total. One more use, and then it'll roll out. I have a lot of single shadows that I only need to use one more time. For the letter O, we have the shade Obsession. And this is from the Ménage à Moi palette. This is beautiful. And it was rolled in last month. And I got all my uses on that because that is my shade. That is one of my shades. It is a beautiful, dark, like mauve-y rose shade. And yes, I was all about it. I had no problem getting my 5 uses on that. So that is also rolling out. For the letter P, I have a Give Me Glow shadow in Pretty Little Lilac. Probably my favorite Give Me Glow shadow. And I don't know if you can see that big dip in there. I love this shadow. This was brought in in January, and I don't know why I had so much trouble getting my uses on it, but I used it 3 times since the last update, which gives me 5 uses. So this is rolling out, and that is what that looks like. It is such a beautiful lilac purple shimmer. I'm going to miss it in this project, even though I didn't really get my uses quickly. It was always such a joy to use. Not that I can't ever use it again. I can. But with the exception of this past month, I usually do reach for this palette quite often. For the letter R, we have the shade Rocksteady. This is from the ColourPop That's Taupe palette. See that big pan in there? Oh. This is the other taupe that was in this project. They were both brought in together, and I had 3 taupes in here at one point. There's what it looks like. It's just a taupe, but it's such a beautiful taupe. And I used that 3 times this past month for a total of 5 uses. So that is actually rolling out as well. For the letter S, we have the shade Slip Dress. This was brought in last month. And if you remember, it's very, very similar to the shade Buzzed. I'm going to roll this out. I'm not going to declutter it. I'm going to roll it out. I did use it once. I used it once since the last update when it was rolled in. But having 2 of these types of shades in here, I'm rolling this out and rolling something in because I don't use these shades much as it is, let alone having 2 of them in here. So that is going to roll out, but it is just going to go back in its home. It's not getting decluttered. For the letter T, I have the shade Toes in the Sand. This is a Sydney Grace shadow, and it is just a really pretty warm brown. I had 2 uses. I had 2 uses on this last month for a total of 3 uses. It was brought in April, and there's just a warm brown. But I have 3 uses on that, so I have 2 more uses to go before that can roll out, and I don't see that being a problem because if I'm using some warm shadows in this that are still in here that need to be rolled out, I'll probably throw that in the outer corner and then get my uses on it that way. For the letter W, last month we rolled in a Divina shadow called Wicked Petal. Oh my gosh. I've only used this once since the last update, but I freaking love it. Oh, it was a very pretty bluey purple periwinkle look. And it is gorgeous. It's a very pretty periwinkle / silver flippy number, and I love it. The last shade that I have usage on is the shade Buzzed. This is for the letter Z. Shade Buzzed. And this is the one that was just like the slip dress. That is what it looks like. It is a pretty orangey yellow shade, but I'm not going to reach for it very much because it's just not a shade that I love. I did use it twice since the last update for a total of 2 uses, so I have 3 more uses to go. So I have 6 single shadows rolling out This time, I'm excited about that. If I have between 5 and 6, I'm happy. Even though some of these are shades I just don't want to use right now, I'm really happy that they were rolled in, but I'm also happy that I get to roll in new shades. If you are new to my channel and this project, I have all of my single shadows organized in columns by letter A through Z. And so I go in with a random number generator and it tells me which shadow I'm going to pull for that month. I have my screen record on. I have my random number generator pulled up. We're going to column A, and I have 1 through 13. I have 13 A's, so 1 through 13 for that. And let's see what we get. Shade number 10, that is Ashen Halo. That is another Divina shadow, and it is beautiful. That was in the same collection, is in the same collection as the Wicked Petal, I believe. I believe it is. I think it's more of a silver than that is more of a bluey purple silver. I think it's more of a silver silver. The next one we're drawing is for the letter G, and I have 13 G's as well. So we're going to keep the 1 through 13, and we're going to see what rolls in 6. The shade Gnarly. I'm pretty sure that is the California Love palette, but I'm not completely sure. Pretty sure though. The next one is for the letter O. I have 12 that start with the letter O. Shade number 8. OMG. I know that that's ColourPop. I just don't know what it's from. But OMG. Now we have the letter P, and I have 22 that start with the letter P. Shade number 2. Palm Palm. That's ColourPop. I know that's ColourPop. They have ridiculous names. I know that that is ColourPop. I just don't know what it looks like. Now we have R's, and I have 15 R's. Shade number 10. Rosewood Lane. Stand by. I want to see if I actually have that. I have an order in for Give Me Glow that I put in March. One of the things that I ordered was on pre-order and I didn't realize it. So I have them in my, I'm pretty sure, just a second. That is one of those shadows that I put it in my spreadsheet thinking that I was going to have them soon, and I still don't have them because I ordered a palette, an empty Z palette that they have just come out with that was pre-order. And if I had known that, I would not have ordered it, but I did because I don't read anything. I don't pay attention to what I'm doing. So I'm just sitting here waiting for my dang shadows. So let's re-roll. Number 12. Royal Affair. I don't know what that is, so we'll find out together. And then the last one that we have rolling out is for the letter S, and I have 26 that begin with S. Shade number 9, Slated. I'm pretty sure that that is from the Blow and Smoke palette. Okay, I'm going to go put these shadows away that we rolled out. I'm going to grab the next set of shadows. We'll come back, we'll discuss. Don't go anywhere. We are back. All of the rollouts are back in their little homes, and I pulled all of the new shadows that were just rolled in for this month. So let's start with letter A. This is the shade Ashen Halo, and this is a Divina shadow from the Crowned in Shadows. It is a silver, but it's different than the silver that's in here. So that is what it looks like. It's very metallic. It's very liquid metal. Look at that. That's beautiful. I'll swatch the other one next to it. This is called Starstruck. So there is a difference, although that is an amazing silver shimmer. I'm going to go ahead and keep them both in because I like them both. They're very pretty. The next one was for the letter G, and it is the shade Gnarly, and it is from the California Love palette, like I thought. And that is what this looks like, and this is going to be so easy. This is going to be so easy to get my uses on. Yay. I'm glad I got a couple. I did get a couple of gimmies, and I'm happy about that. It's just a warm, like lid setting shade or transition shade or crease shade or whatever you want to use it for, but it's very neutral, very easy. Yay for that. Yay. For the letter O, we rolled in OMG, and this is from the Orchid You Not palette from ColourPop, and it is a dark pink, dark mauve shimmer. I guess it is more pink. That is what it looks like. I was worried about it being in here with the Nocturne, although I only have one use to go on this, but this is this is really red. It's more of a red than a pink. So I'm happy about that. That'll look really pretty with some pink looks. For the letter P, we have the shade Pom Pom, and this, I didn't realize, is from the Lush Life palette. The Lush Life palette is one of my favorite ColourPop palettes, even though it's very colorful, and I don't do a whole lot of colorful makeup. This is one of the best shades as far as formulas in that palette, and it is beautiful. It is this chartreusey, bright goodness. And that is what that looks like. And that's going to be very fun to use for summer as well. 5 uses? I don't know. Maybe it'll be a lower lash line, an inner corner, something. I will get my 5 uses on it. The next one is for the letter R, and it is Royal Affair. And this is from the All Amethyst palette. And again, I think this is going to be very easy to get my uses, because it is just a dark purple. And I have been loving the purple. This is a warmer purple than the cool purple looks I've been doing, but still it's purple. That'll be easy. That'll be really easy to get my uses on. And then the last one, when I drew slated, I was thinking there were 2 of them, and there are 2 slated. They're both ColourPop. One is in the That's Taupe palette, and one is in the Blow and Smoke palette. So I went with the first one that was on my list, and that was from the That's Taupe palette. And the other one is a very dark gray matte. So both of those would have been just fine. But this is a beautiful shimmer. I love this palette. Oh, I thought I just hit pan. I did not. And it's just a really pretty neutral, taupey neutral shimmer. Again, very easy. So I'm glad I got some gimmies this time, because the last couple of months have been a little difficult. Yes, I have 6 rollouts, but really only 4 of those were legitimate rollouts. The other ones I rolled out because I just didn't feel like using them. And it's my project. I can roll out things all willy-nilly if I want to. I try not to do that. Okay, you guys, this is our new color story. This pop of green is really making a big difference. Also, I'm seeing some shadows that may possibly go very well together. This with this, or this with these two, or even the Cheers Babe. That's not Cheers Babe. That's Earth Shine. Also, I do see some warm looks that can be had. And, you know, I'm really good with this color story. I very much enjoyed using those 2 shadows this last time, even though they're not things I normally would reach for, which is one of the reasons why I love this project so much. It's making me think outside of the box, outside of the little box that I've created for myself, because it is completely self-induced. So yes, happy about that. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the new color story. Let me know if you have been using your single shadows lately and what you've been using. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you being here. And until our next adventure, everyone have a great day, and we'll see you later.